And of course, if we go back into a colour that's not quite dry, we want to readjust this this colour here, and it's not quite dry, then that isn't going to work either, is it? Because once we start to go back in, we're mixing and moving around the paint that was underneath. So that will end up with disaster. You're going to be overworking it. You're going to be in there fiddling around, and you probably want to change it slightly. It doesn't look quite right, so you add, say, some ultramarine, and before you know it, you end up with a huge mess that's not transparent or translucent. Let's just quickly show you on another little swatch here how to get some better results, quicker results. So we're just going to stick to some basic colours. Let's try blue. There we go. 1, 2, 3. Notice that? 1, 2, 3. Let's just drop in some blue down in here in the 1, 2, 3. And I don't know, let's just start having fun with this and just suggesting a sky or mountains or something. So we're not going to fiddle with this too much. That will do there. And let's come warm. So I'm going to go quite close to the edge of this, but not quite up to it. Some of it will touch, and I want that. I want it to bleed in. And then we'll strengthen it up as we come along here. And we'll go quite fast, so we get that skipping across. Okay, so as a first sort of glaze or a first wash, unless we're painting wet into wet, we're going to need to let that dry. Yeah, and if we don't let it dry, we're going to end up with issues. Issues of overpainting. If we do want to add in, there's no good having a mixture. You see this mixture that we've got over here that's quite liquid, because I'm adding more liquid in, and of course more liquid in is going to create problems. So we actually probably want to have a bit more pigment in to create. So if we're thinking about distant trees, otherwise you're just adding more liquid into the mixture. See that blending up. Now if I want that to be in the distance, so to speak, you really need to be using gravity to let that run, so we can see that starting to run now, otherwise it's going to run back in there. But see how quickly that was done. We're not spending too much time on this. I can see that run going there. I could get anxious about it, or I could just deal with it and just take it out gently. Now it depends what the overall effect of your painting is going to be. I know I've now taken out parts of this wash down here, but it depends what we were actually painting. This is just a demonstration to show you some clearness and clarity. But you can see once I'd mixed in the yellow ochre into the ultramarine blue and they touch together, then you've got issues and problems. Okay, that's actually painting quite nice, and you hear me saying so much about let it paint itself, let it paint itself. I'm now encouraging to paint itself by just moving the pigment and the water around. Yeah, so it really does behove one to let this watercolour, any watercolour painting that you're doing, but do it, just let it do its own thing in a way. It sounds a bit odd because you are controlling it, but you'll get fresher results. I'm just feeling how damp this is if you do that. And if you want, as I said before, to create the wet into wet, it is a little bit about timing. If you go back into the first liquid wash quickly, you'll see what happens. It will bloom out. If I wait for this to dry a lot more, so it's kind of damp, you'll get different effects. And the only way to learn about this stuff really is to practice for yourself. I've said before, the final thing before we finish this video, get good quality paper, yeah, 100% cotton, rag content. That will help loads. Get some good quality paints. You only need 3 or 4 to really get yourself going, and get a 2 or 3 really good brushes, and then you're halfway there. You really are. It'll make a world of difference. So don't spend loads of money on loads of equipment. Get the best, keep it limited, and enjoy the results. If you buy bad paper, you're going to end up with, bad results. Just don't go there. Okay, anyway, so thanks for subscribing. Take care now, and see you again soon.